Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about Eisenhower Matrix to increase your day-to-day productivity in your life. We used to have days, busy days, where we have done a lot of tasks, say hundreds of tasks. But then we realized that none of them were adding any values to your growth. This happens to most of the people. I believe this tool will help you to focus on the tasks which adds value to your life. The Eisenhower Matrix is also known as Urgent Important Matrix. And in Eisenhower Matrix, we are prioritizing tasks based on its urgency and importance. Mr. Eisenhower was the 34th President of the United States. He led the construction of interstate highways, he created NASA, and many more. 3 decades later, in a book, Stephen Covey mentioned about a particular tool Mr. Eisenhower applied in his day-to-day life to become very productive. That's known as the Eisenhower Metric. This tool is useful for the people who has every day is a firefighting day. I'm busy, but I'm not making an impact. I have a dream, but I don't have time or energy to make progress. I have hard time in delegating and say no. These are the 4 characteristics of people who really needs this tool. There are proven studies that we are really good in prioritizing tasks based on its deadline than importance, and that creates all the problem. In Eisenhower Matrix, now you can see it in my screen. There's an x-axis and y-axis. In the x-axis, you can see urgent and not urgent. In the y-axis, you can see important and non-important to form 4 quadrants. In the first quadrant, you can start putting your tasks, which are, maybe you can pick up some sticky notes, start writing your to-dos based on its importance and urgency. In the first quadrant, there are items which are urgent and important. That's a firefighting quadrant or danger zone. In the second quadrant, not urgent, but it's important. Third quadrant, not important, but urgent. The fourth one is not important, not urgent. Let's go in deeper. The first quadrant, imagine tomorrow you need to submit your tax declaration. That's urgent and important. So you need to do it now. Whatever task comes in quadrant 1, you need to do yourself with highest priority. Or finishing a commitment for the customer. The second quadrant is the best quadrant. But once you start doing this to-do list in this kind of format, you can see initially you will have a lot of items in the first quadrant, but slowly that quadrant will become empty. And the second quadrant will have more items. That's a good sign because second quadrant is the green zone where you are scheduling the items. You have important items in your life, you are putting it there, and you know that there is a plan in place. The first quadrant was do it now. The second one is schedule it now with a date. The tax filing example I mentioned earlier, you could have done it or you could have scheduled it earlier, but you were not that great in time or task management. That's how it became urgent and important. There are multiple examples maybe you can consider in this second quadrant. You may have a plan you may have an ambition for your career, like those items, those to-dos can be put it here with a long-term plan, like networking a potential future customer, sending him a LinkedIn request, sending him a particular proposal. It's not urgent now, but after 3-4 months, it will become very handy for you. The third quadrant is urgent, but not important. One of the example could be video editing. So you have a product, you prepared a video, and it needs to be uploaded to your channel today to get more attention from the customer, imagine. You don't need to necessarily do it. You can delegate it. You can give it to someone else in your team, and because it does not need maybe your special skill. The third quadrant is for delegation. You need to monitor it. You don't need to do it. It's urgent. So you need to ensure that it's not skipped, but let someone else do it so that you can focus your quality time on the first and the second quadrant. There could be items in this third quadrant, like finding a holiday spot. Maybe you can ask your spouse to take care of it if you are busy. The fourth quadrant, you should delete, or whatever task comes in the fourth quadrant, you should not consider it, because those are the items which will distract you. The best example is maybe use of social media like WhatsApp while you're working. You may be composing an email, suddenly you get a message from your friend in WhatsApp, then you get distracted. All the items which makes you distracted need to go in this fourth quadrant, and you need to stop looking at it. Junk food instead of a proper lunch. It's not going to add any value to you. It's rather spoiling you. By managing your task in this way, you can start being more productive. You can see it from the first day itself. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I'll come back to you with the next topic. Bye.